And when I first started this program, I was probably around like 24 to maybe 28. Just December, we had our first 30K day. After I started to see results with the profile funnel, I said, okay, this just makes way more sense. Everything that I expected and that I wanted, it pretty much got surpassed, bro. And I believe that month we did like $60,000. I had that work ethic, I had that, but I needed the principles, I needed the foundations, and I needed to be working on the highest leverage things. So I would not be in the position I am if I would have done it. I do my
Oh
last.
yeah, this is real. So this is a nice background. I love the apartment that I'm in right now. We're just grinding it out, bro. Like it's very nice. It's very steady and everything. So I appreciate you wanting to hop on in the first place. Like I really do, bro.
But in regards to not necessarily only the information, but in terms of everything that obviously has been instilled from working with you, it's been fucking crazy, bro. My life's done like a complete 180.
I appreciate that, bro. No, that means a lot. I'm very curious what you feel like you have experienced, and we definitely gonna talk about that. And again, like I appreciate you want to hop on to do that because I think, bro, we started like what is it, 4 months ago, 5 months ago? You got a
I
call
think
with Herman, and you were like,
more or
boom.
maybe less. I think it was like
Really?
right towards the middle end of September. So I mean,
Yeah.
bare before. You know what I'm saying?
What is the main reason why you decided to pull the trigger in the first place with us specifically
So
in
I
your
think with you
decision
guys.
making process?
With you guys specifically, it was obviously me being in a situation where I wanted someone that I didn't just value in terms of like business. I think a lot of people look at things on like just a business standpoint, but also a
Mhm.
personal standpoint. Like, how is this individual around people that do not benefit them? I obviously saw that you were in a situation where you go above and beyond to help other people. And I think that all of that transformed into what I wanted to be around. And also understanding someone that works on the highest leverage things that doesn't prioritize that whole hustle culture because that was something I was trying to get away with. I get away from. I had that work ethic, I had that, but I needed the principles, I needed the foundations, and I needed to be working on the highest leverage things. So, alongside obviously you as a person and the things that you value, and that I value, I also wanted to be in a situation where I can work less and make more. You know what I'm saying? We're always moving the needle.
100%. Super clear, bro. And do you feel like that these expectations have been met, or do you feel like certain expectations have been met, or maybe some not, or most not? I'm
Oh
very
no, bro,
curious.
they've been exceeded, dude. I think that now the way that my business is, I guess, centered, it makes me appreciate the value of how the skill sets that I developed, right? Because the biggest thing for me was obviously with I've been invested in mentorships prior, and I understand that the biggest thing that you could get is obviously just a couple of skill sets that are the main needle movers that kind of like a slingshot effect that propel you. I mean, from being in a situation where I was sitting around like 20K a month, kind of stuck, didn't have really have the clarity. That was like the biggest thing that I got. And then also being in a situation where your mentality shifts away from being very attached to money. I think that especially as a Mexicano, your mind gets stuck like, oh, like I have this money, I need to sit with it, I need to sit with it. And you were like, no, like buy experiences, reinvest into the business, reinvest into more guidance, all the above. And I posted in the chat like when I found me and my family going to Turks. I when I bought this flight and I heard about it on TikTok and my sister reposted it and I was like, all right, they want to go there, let me book it. I didn't even know where it was on the map.
Crazy,
I
bro.
still don't even know where Turks is. I know it's in the Caribbean now, but the mentality shift and also being around the proximity of individuals that it really reframes your mind on what a dollar is worth, right? It's more of your skill sets as opposed to your labor.
I love that, bro. And again, I always love to have these calls because like I see you transform into who you were 4 months ago, especially the call that we had when we started first. Like we had one onboarding call together, and then just to see you now and constantly grow and see your chats in the Discord and everything in the way you're growing. What do you feel like has caused that? Because it's fun for people and just for yourself to experience the growth. But I think it's way more fun to actually see why it caused that type of growth so you can replicate it now multiple times.
Shit. Well, I think the biggest thing for me was the clarity aspect, the tracking, and also being very specific with things. I think that beforehand I was really struggling with like I had the work ethic, it was already instilled, but I was just doing the same things over and over and over, expecting a different result. But once I had the understanding of clarity to realize that okay, the only things that I need to be doing right now are getting my ads right, retaining my clients, and buying more property. Nothing else fucking matters. It really put me in a situation where it became very replicable. Okay, understanding. Okay, well, my this ad popped off. Sitting with the clients that came from that ad, saying what was the biggest thing, getting that data, and being able to reverse engineer. I think that I had a business beforehand that was going purely upon when I would buy this property, I'll get hype from it, I'll get clients, all the above. But I was never able to reverse engineer and then really
Structure. You
build
lack structure.
build structure and systems in place to replicate it with the ideal client that I wanted to work with all the time. And I
Mm.
think that was the biggest thing for me, um, which ultimately also made me enjoy the business a lot more. I think when you don't have clarity, you don't have predictability, you don't have
Bro, you
a
know what it
structure of
is?
what to do, you get stuck.
Yeah, you got me to a great thought of mine. It's like when you don't have clarity, you don't know where you're going, and everything is frustrating because you don't know like what you're doing and you don't know what you need to do next. And the biggest problem is not solving a problem. It's not knowing the problems you have. You see what I mean? When you don't know the problems you have, it's fucked because action for us is not a problem, you know? A problem is not knowing our problems. So I think like getting exposed to your problem is the biggest thing that everybody can ever do to grow because that'll actually create the necessary growth that we need. And again, like you've been executing on that very, very well. And I think like that is something that I'm very proud of as well because you know what it is, like me and Isaiah cannot do it without you. You know, you're here for a reason, but you took the action yourself. And I think that's something you must be proud of as well because you're always showing up, you're doing what you necessarily need to be doing. And I think that's also what creates that strength, which then ultimately will result into outcomes.
100%, 100%. I couldn't agree more, dude. That's all I'm telling you. That I think it's something that is really mind-boggling because at the backbone of showing up every single day, putting in the work, keeping your head down. Once you finally pop your head up, you realize I built this whole fucking ecosystem of things that, honestly, at the beginning of it, thought that it was gonna take a lot more work, a lot more headache, a lot more triumph. But when you follow the right systems, it shortcuts the whole thing.
What do you feel like have you learned specifically from the ads part that made you got more traffic as well as engagement and content that you do different now compared to doing kind of vague work, like doing kind of work of not knowing what you're doing constantly, just posting random shit or running random shit. Is like, what have you learned to find a proper system in it that actually gives you fucking client and makes
I
you
think
money?
the biggest thing for me was I was trying to assume what my clients wanted through the ad, like through the ads. I was trying to like assume what it was. So I said, okay, well, let me reverse engineer based off what you guys taught me. Let me go to my most successful clients. Where did you come from? How did you go this way? Okay, what do I need to market about that actually brings that in on the ads? Well, the biggest thing I learned from you guys is that I was trying to target people that were barely trying to get into it. But when I reverse engineered from my clients' data, I realized, okay, let me intercept somebody that's already done the research, already taken the action, and they just missing the proper mentor and guidance, which was me. I was trying to get people that had never heard about it and then trying to convert them, which was just not, it wasn't feasible. And it was just a headache. When I realized, okay, I'm going to get people and meet them in the middle. Okay, well,
Clear.
alongside that, how can I be less, I guess, wary and frugal, I guess you could say, in terms of the testing budget, right? Understanding you have to spend 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 just to understand what's going on. And then tracking that data, knowing, okay, well, if it's going to cost me $400 to book a very qualified call, but I'm going to convert and my cost of acquisition is going to be $600, but my price point is 6,000, I'm going to try to race to get to $600 and spend
Yeah.
because it's predictable. And I think that beforehand, I said, oh, well, I booked this call and didn't convert, but I didn't have the data to understand, okay, that call didn't convert, but the next one is. So rush and get to the next one. Why are you waiting here?
But that's the thing, bro. Like people are waiting on these short-term decisions, and then the first step they make, they don't get a client, and they're like, "This shit is not working." You know what I mean? Like it's a different mindset. So I think that's a very fucking good point you're making. It's like, yo, this shit didn't work. Learn a lesson from it and go to the fucking next one. You know, and by the next one you'll be able to make it work. And maybe not. Cool, you try it again. You know, it's like the crucialness of understanding how valuable data is actually super important because most people, first of all, are not able to track it or not able to read it, and then they don't know what next action step they should take to actually improve it. And I think like that is very, very crucial as well. I have a question for you. When it comes down to accountability and support, what is it that you expect into somebody that helps you grow your business? Like what did you desire beforehand? What did you got? And how did you felt along the way? And I want you to be completely honest. Like
I'm always honest with everything. Yeah, I got you. I think the thing that I expected was someone that has been through the fire and the turmoil of the hard business decisions because I think that we don't make better decisions. I think we just have better data. I understood data was the thing that I was missing, but someone that has actually been in the trenches and built a sophisticated business and hold me accountable to change the perspective I had on just the whole business entirely. And I think
Mhm.
that is exactly what I was looking for. And that was exactly what I got. And also, I believe when you have individuals around you, like yourself, like Isaiah, that put you in a position where they're experiencing way greater problems, in a good way, it belittles the problems that you have currently. And it also makes you more susceptible to take action quicker because you realize the problems that they're facing and the problems that you're facing.
Yes.
So when they tell you from that perspective of the problems they're facing, you realize that, okay, this little hump that I think is going to end my world is not that big of a deal. And all I need to do is XYZ based off of the support that I got from you guys, which was always super helpful because it was a borderline like 24/7. You text the Discord chat, you get a response. And then from there, you go and implement it. Right. And I think that everything that I expected and that I wanted, it pretty much got surpassed, bro. Just because there were different outlooks, different perspectives, different ways that I got pushed that I didn't think were possible because I didn't know that it existed. Because I
Yeah,
didn't know.
fair.
And now I know, and it is getting exceeded even more.
Which is kind of fucked because the next person you'll join, you have high expectations.
Well, that's how it is.
You know what I mean?
That's how it is, dude. And I think that it makes
No, but in all
it
honesty, bro,
harder
like
to
I've
advance
got a lot of
another
clients.
program because yeah.
Yeah. I see what you mean. And again, there are a lot of things that are extremely good, right? Programs that are good and extremely like a lot of programs that are very shit. But we get very often where like, especially with Isaiah as well, like people join other programs after and they're like, yo, Nick, the fuck is this? And then they're kind of like, like we've been working for you for 6 months, 12 months, and some even 2 years. We have 4 clients that are working with us for 3 years. And it's like they just never leave. And if they do join something else, they always come back because I think like again, support is something that is very important and clients always need to see improvement. Support can be amazing, but when you don't see improvement in your results, at a certain point, you're gonna be like, yo, you know what? Like, thank you for fucking everything you did, but I gotta go. Which is fair, which is transparent, right? So no, I get that completely. How is your relationship with your clients? Like, how did you improve your messaging to actually attract like buyers? To
I
attract
think the
buyers, but also good
way that
clients.
yeah. The way that I improved was how I mentioned previously, meeting people where they were, but while like intercepting them as opposed to trying to get them over the fence to go and believe in the product and then doing it. And I think the biggest thing for me was speaking from a position of experience, and also from the adversity I faced that, obviously was necessary for me to succeed. And the crazy thing about it, like when I had this girl, Nancy, right? She barely spoke English. She is from Japan. She came here. She's a veteran. She bought her first property back in 2022. Then she bought her second with me. And now the property is listed for rent. There's already people waiting to go and obviously rent out the property. But the biggest thing for me was that when she had called me after she signed it, she's crying, thanking me because she never thought that it was possible to go and buy another property that she had never seen before in a state that she hasn't been in. And now she has basically most of her bills being paid for from this rental income. That's the type of feeling that crave and that high that I craved. And I think when I portray that in my messaging, it gives me the people that
You
appreciate
need.
the guidance,
Yes.
appreciate transparency, and appreciate the help. Because especially in today's current market, people have bullshit detectors like never before. And I think that when you're able to show real people that walk, talk, and look like them to my messaging and my marketing, and then also being that individual and not being the super flashy and all that stuff that nobody cares about, and they genuinely connect with you and they feel just your energy through the screen, it's attract so much buyers. And obviously having the social proof and the data to back it up and show like, look, this is actually what I've done. It's not just me showing all these case studies,
No,
although this is
exactly.
actually done. I think doing that, but the biggest thing was me reframing from trying to get people that were
Just your
scared about it
messaging.
in the
And
beginning.
it's also like what you show is what you get. Like if you show a great client with certain values, you get more of these people. It's that simple. We obviously, as you know, like we use a different strategy than most people do. We use the profile funnel compared to like VSL funnel or direct ads, and we use more of like a content format, including with like top of the funnel ads. How do you see that difference, and where do you see that going from a longevity perspective? Like obviously, we run the profile funnel, right? It's a different strategy than most people use with like direct advertisement or direct anything else. How have you been experiencing that, and how do you see that difference, especially ongoing in 2026 as we just started?
Oh, dude, it's clear as day. And the reason why I say this is because after I started to see results with the profile funnel, I said, okay, Javi, how do you expect people to come from a VSL that don't know you, that don't trust you, that don't like you, and buy your program, which is 6 grand, and then buy a property that's going to cost them $30,000 off of the rip when they don't know you? So then when the profile funnel was obviously something that I believed in before I bought the program, and then when I bought it, I saw the results from it, I said, this just makes way more sense. Like me personally, why would I go to somebody else and then go through the whole triumph of getting through the VSL, go booking a call with them, pay the program, and then pay after? Like it just didn't make sense to me, the whole VSL thing. So I think once I unlocked it, I understood, okay, well, how do I want to build, my reputation, my connection people? I want to show, okay, who's going to be here 5 to 10 years from now? And what is it going to take? It's going to be a longevity play. And it's going to be from the profile funnel of building the ecosystem to the point where if someone doesn't buy now, they're going to buy eventually.
They'll buy later, bro. And
They're going
and
to buy
and
no,
you
it's either
have
going
the
to buy or they're
brand.
going to die. That's
And
just,
also what you spend is not lost because you have your brand, bro. Your brand is something fucking, it's like some sort of value. It can never be launched. You don't run ads for 2 months, cool, fine. You have your brand. It's
and,
like,
yeah, and that was the craziest wake up because then I realized, okay, well, when I run these ads, people, maybe don't convert right away, or they do convert. I get get them on a low ticket, and then they upsell, whatever. But I had people that messaged me. I didn't find it. I could probably show to you, saying that they wait to read my stories and read what I type out in terms of my beliefs because it reframes the way they look at their business. If on a VSL, you'll never get shit like that. But I
very
understood once this person gets the money, got you. They're gonna convert because you don't
very
look
clear.
out for someone's story to read the way that they operate and the
Yes,
philosophy about investing or the way the world is moving, all the above, which ties into my offer. If you're not gonna buy,
exactly. Why would you have the fucking interest into it? And why would you pay the attention to it?
exactly. Again, it's
Fair, man.
crazy.
No, that's super clear. It's very clear. I'm gonna ask you this question, but I already know the answer, obviously, but I think it's important because we didn't even talk about this. Explain me the niche you're in and why this niche is kind of beneficial for the way you structure your company now, whether that's with ads or with content and whatever, right? Because there are not a lot of people doing what you do at this moment with such like a strong funnel in your
Because
niche.
for me, right, I'm in a marketplace where there's a lot of, like I mentioned, people that are full of BS. So people have bullshit detectors. The way that our company operates is be in a situation where from the jump we've always pushed the message that whether we can help you or not doesn't matter to us. We're gonna be very transparent with all our business instead of just
Mhm.
selling you. I'm in the Section 8 real estate sector, which is essentially just people that buy properties and mark and rent them out to the government. They get guaranteed rent. The problem with this is a lot of people have negative connotations to that. So for me, instead of always trying to convert, I'm always trying to be relational with the profile that I've built and the ecosystem that I've built, which is the way that we're operating differently, which is obviously as a result doing the things that we've done. And I
Yes.
believe that the way that I've approached it, I mean, it's not even necessarily belief, it's just from what I've experienced and what clients have told me is completely out of left field and people liked it. I think that sometimes you don't even need to be better, you just need to be different. And that's what I've experienced. There's top.
But you know what it is? Better is fucking different is better.
That's
You
what
know what it
better is.
is?
And
So I love that.
you want let me tell you a crazy story about this. I had an individual before I invested in your program that is in the Section 8 real estate space who is probably around 30 years old, a little bit old, a good amount older than me, right? And I had wanted to be in a position where I built alongside them and potentially merge because he had done that previously. And this individual was so scared of the idea that and the way that we were operating, the things that we doing, he denied mentorship and working alongside each other because he
Wow.
thought that was competition from him. So the way that we're approaching it is always just being relational over being transactional, helping individuals, ensuring that they understand that in the world that we live in right now, if you don't have assets, it's gonna be very hard for you, especially as things get more difficult. But yeah, in the Section 8 real estate space, there's a lot of BS, and that's why I believe that if we're able to build a relationship with people over the amount of time with the profile funnel, it's going to obviously increase our conversions over time, as opposed to trying to convert off the first rip. And we're seeing results from it and continuing to push it.
What have you seen for transformation in terms of like where did you start revenue wise, where are you now, and what's the fucking next goal, bro? Where are we gonna get you to?
So right now, so that's a crazy thing is that in December I had a 20K day, no 30K day. Shit just
That's
fucking blew my mind,
fucking
right?
ridiculous.
So when I first started this program, I was probably around like 24 to maybe 28. And I think that's exactly what I told you guys when I first hopped on the initial call with
You
you. And
did. I think you
that
said
was revenue.
24. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
remember
like
that. I can really
24 to
remember that.
28. And that was revenue. So net, you're probably netting like 19 after processing fees, paying people out, all the above. So
75 for yeah, whatever.
yeah, whatever,
80%.
something around there, which is cool. But just December, we had our first 30K day, which is from the real estate plays and obviously the info space, all the above, which is mind boggling, right? And I believe that month we did like $60,000, like revenue generated,
Yeah.
which even just a 3x in a matter of 4 months, people spend fucking 2, 3 years trying to do numbers like that. And I
Yeah.
believe it's just a matter of everything that I mentioned previously of having you as the right resource, the individuals in there, and the right systems and processes to
It's
replicate it.
also, bro, you tripled your business in 3 months, right? And even though you make 30K in a day, that doesn't happen every day, obviously. But still, if it happens in a day and you don't make sales for a week, but you still make like two sales fucking every week and it stacks up and you get a 60K, that's fucking great, bro. Like this year, we're gonna make sure you're gonna get to $250,000 per month, you know? Like, and I fully believe you can get there, bro. I've seen your work ethic, I've seen what you can do, and I know what I can do and what Isaiah can do. So like we just gotta fucking lock in, make that happen because I think then you'll like bro, you'll become an industry leader that destroys every competitor, you know? And you know already you deserve it because you know already that you're better than most people at the moment with your service delivery and the way you structure things. You know what I
You know
mean?
that.
And I think that
Yeah,
is very crucial.
that's the goal. And then obviously for the goals that we have that I have moving forward is just reinvesting into more ads, signing more clients, retaining them, and then just buying more property. Like right now, I'm in the process of buying another property, which is fucking mind-boggling to me. But for anyone that's on the fence in regards to working with you, I mean, when I had first joined your program, I was right after I spent, it was like almost $40,000 on a property. So everything in my mind could tell me, look, just hold out for a little bit, hold on to your funds, be conservative. I would not be in the position I am if I would have done that. Right? People have all this money sitting, not willing to invest with you, no reason not to, and they find a reason for themselves. But me, I had every reason in a very conservative, very I guess real world way to look at it, I could have just done nothing. But the bottom line is that if I want to go and be different, I want to be the exception, I have to do exceptional things.
That
You know?
separates the fucking winners from the losers, bro. It's very simple. You know
Exactly.
what I
And
mean?
I think that you guys really helped me tie into my strong suits of buying my first property at 20 years old and showing that and my messaging, my marketing, coming from a single parent, everything you could think of in terms of what I thought were weaknesses. You guys said, here, leverage them into your strengths, into your marketing, and you're gonna take over. And I think that's what we're doing gradually. And I know that it's only a matter of time until, like you said, we're the leading person in the space.
Sick, bro. I appreciate you, bro. I don't have anything else to say. Do you want to say anything else specifically? Do you
I
want to
think
add anything,
that
any advice that you want to give to people that are still broke, that don't have an info product that is profitable?
let
So,
me let me
so-
let me tell for one thing that I have as a piece of advice for anybody watching this is that there are a lot of people that think my niche is saturated, my niche is this, my niche is that. The world is not on a budget at all. There are billions of dollars being printed every single day. And the only reason that you are not where you want to be is because you do not want to be there. And I could have been in a situation where I did absolutely nothing. And on paper, I could have been more successful than maybe 99% of people my age at, 20 years old buying 9 units, in terms of properties. But the thing is that the work that you think it's going to take maybe 10, 20 times as much of that. And you could either choose to do it yourself and be in a situation where who knows how long it's going to take for you to get there. Or you can invest yourself properly and cut that timeline in half, maybe even by 75%, because you are in a situation where that time you will never get back and it's going to pass anyways. Please cut out the frugality if you have it in your mind or if you just always operated with it. And I promise you will see exceptional results.